Ali Sedan adds at the bottom of page 18 the following. Yiftach Spector היה מפקד טייסת של טייסים ותיקים ברפידים. Yiftach Spector was a mafaked of a squadron of pilots, of veteran pilots in a place called Refidim, a base, B'merkaz Sinai, at the center of the Sinai, which we still had Lifnei Yom Kippur and before Yom Kippur. I believe it means the Yom Kippur War. Waya mafaked kasher v'achzari, he was a difficult and cruel mafaked. Vaya ma'amen et hatayasim pam v'od pam, and he would train his pilots again and again and again, b'meshech kol shot hayomah, in all hours of the day. He was a bit crazy about something. He would train them in unique maneuvers, and special maneuvers of escaping the enemy when they're chasing. Many of these tayasim were married. נשותיהן של הטייסים היו שומעות מהחברות שהן שבעליהם עושים חיים, חוזרים הרבה הביתה ומבלים ערבים משותפים, ואילו אצלם בסיני לא מספיק שהן במקום תקוע בלב המדבר, אלא גם את הבעלים הן לא רואות, כי הם כל היום באימונים. These wives of these pilots who were going through very difficult experiences and challenging with this mufaked would hear from their female friends who were married to pilots on different bases across Israel that their husbands, osim chaim, enjoying life, come home and they have a lot of time one-on-one together. But by them, in the Sinai, not only are they in the middle of nowhere, takwa, sof olam, right? They're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert. On top of that, they just don't get to see their husbands because they're training all day long. יום אחד הם באו ללשכתו של ספקטור, התלוננו שהתנאים בטייסת שלו אינם דומים לשום טייסת אחרת. One day they'd had enough, and these women went to Yiftach Spector's office to complain that the conditions in his squadron are not similar to any other squadrons in Israel. שעובדים קשה מדי, they're working too hard, וביקשו ממנו שייתן גם קצת לחיות. And these women, these wives, asked the mafaked to give their husbands a bit of a break. הוא הסתכל עליהם, הסתכל על השעון ואמר, he looked at them and he looked at his watch and said, תראו, look, יש לכם 30 שניות לעוף לי מהעיניים, you have 30 seconds to get out, כל מי שתישאר מול עיניי בעוד 30 שניות, anyone who remains here after 30 seconds in this room, במקום אני מעיף במקום, אני מעיף את בעלה מהטייסת, straight away I will throw out your husband, the woman who stays in the room's husband, from the squadron, meaning, from חיל האוויר basically, and he starts counting. 1, 2, 3, צא, get out. כולן ברחו, all these women ran away. ושמוש יצא כמפקד הטייסת הכי קשה ואכזרי בצה"ל. And he became known as the most difficult and cruel squadron commander in the whole of the army. קבעו 3 חודשים, 3 months went past, and then מלחמת יום כיפור broke out. המלחמה שנקראת הטיל שכופף את הכנף. I'm not sure what that expression means, but we'll move on. צה"ל לא התכונן למלחמה, צה"ל wasn't ready for this war, לא נערך מול הטילים המתקדמים של הרוסים. They weren't ready for the advanced missiles of the Russians, of the USSR, בהם השתמשו המצרים, the Egyptians were using. Right? They weren't ready for it. כתוצאה מכך, עשרות מטוסים הופלו על ידי הטילים. As a result of this, tens of Israeli planes were knocked down out of the sky, were brought down out of the sky because of these missiles. צה"ל לא היה יכול לתת גיבוי אווירי לכוחות הלוחמים בתעלה. Tsahal was not able, because of losing air superiority, having so many planes knocked down, they weren't able to give air cover to the fighting forces in the Suez Canal. This is one of the reasons why we weren't able to stop the Egyptian advance, because we didn't have an air force in the sky. Tens of planes and pilots were knocked down, and the pilots ended up in Egyptian what's it called? Prisoner war camps. הטייסת היחידה שבה אף טייס לא הופל על ידי טיל היא הטייסת של יפתח ספקטור. The only squadron which had no pilots fall into enemy hands was Yiftach Spector's, meaning he was that tough, he was that demanding, that it wasn't a nice experience for those who had to experience it, but it gave results. It resulted in results which you could see in the fact they succeeded. Yiftach Spector had trained them how to escape from a missile which was chasing them, and the level of training that they done, training which involved practices that targilim that was so weird that everyone thought weird. It was the only case of not one pilot was killed in the war. Even though it was the first squadron to actually go out against the Egyptians as they attacked, meaning they saw the most action from day one. They had not one pilot was killed. It was already in the battlefield. It was in the Sinai desert already, ready to fight the battle. After the Yom Kippur War, these women, these wives, who originally had complained to the Mefaked, did a special meal to in honor of this cruel Mefaked, who in the end saved their husbands' lives. This is a classic story, says Rav Eli Sadan, to understand what the army is. Sometimes it may not be easy, but that not being easy gets results which in the end save lives.